Welcome to Wealth Intelligence Series, brought to you by DESAL Wealth Academy. In today's episode, I will be focusing on the 3 steps to escape poverty. And this is because I believe that by now, you're beginning to understand the damage, the scope, and the depth of poverty. We've dedicated a number of series for just one reason, to help you understand the different dimensions of poverty. To help you see poverty from different lenses, just so that it will help you appreciate the challenge before you, and then you now understand what we need to do going forward. And for that reason, I believe that at this point in time, you are beginning to consider the possibility of leaving poverty behind and then going into the future of wealth. And if you have decided, there's a lot of process you need to follow. It is a journey. Because you see, poverty has been a lifestyle. It has been a belief system. It is something we've adapted and adopted for a very long time. Sometimes it is something that a family has made a culture and a community have accepted. And so if you need to move from poverty and you head to wealth, it's going to be a journey, but you need to start from somewhere. In problem solving, one of the key things we ask as a question is, how do you eat an elephant? Considering the fact that the elephant is very big, so you start asking yourself, where will you start? If you look at the size of the elephant, this may intimidate you. But the idea is this: when you consider that the best way to start doing anything big is to start small. The best way to approach a 1,000 mile is to take the first step. So in the same context, as the point where you decide, you start considering to change your mind from accepting poverty and to heading towards wealth. One of the first things you must consider to do is decide to make wealth. It's a decision. Most people fall into the trap of poverty because they are focused on making this a thing of luck. They just believe it's something they just will sleep one night and then wake up the next morning rich and wealthy. And so you see questions such as, perhaps on social media, what will you do if you pick up 10 million naira now? What will you do if you pick up 1 billion naira? What will you do if you just win 10 billion naira? All these questions are wishful thinking. Honestly, if you continue in that way, you keep wishing until thy kingdom come, nothing will change. And so, if you have come to that point where you decide to have that mental shift and make the first step, the first thing you need to do is decide to make wealth. You need to decide. You need to take a decision. And why is decision crucial? If you remember what I discussed earlier, that the mind will get to somewhere first before the body gets to that point. And so what decision is all about is, it means bring all the power of your mind, accept with your spirit, your soul and body that this is what you're going to do. Harmonize your decisions, your feeling, your thinking, your belief system that you have decided to make wealth. Without that core decision, nothing will happen. You will not be able to take the first steps. And even when you are introduced to savings and even investment, you won't be able to take the opportunity. Your mindset will not shift except you take that core decision to make a positive step forward. And that is why wealth begins with a choice. The choice to get there is yours. The second step you need to consider is, you must begin thinking about other people. You must start developing a global mind. The reason why most people don't know much about poverty is that you're focused on yourself. As long as you're selfish, you cannot make wealth. It is just not possible. Because the idea is this: a selfish person only thinks of what they can eat, where they will live. They only think of areas and things that they will consume. So for them, their need is only about them. But those who make wealth understand that you need to create resources beyond what you can consume. You need to be able to create value that is bigger than you and your generation. You need to create value that as much as third and fourth generation. The reason is because you're thinking of others. You're concerned that there are others who don't have. And you will have to put yourself in the shoe to ask yourself, how do you make it possible for them? One of the most popular people that have achieved this are people like Bill Gates and people like Warren Buffett and the owner of Facebook and most of the billionaires. They have a group and a club called the Billionaire Pledge Club. And the key thing and function for which they do there is that you just come there even before making billions, just to pledge that if you make money, you're going to give 60% of the money you have made to the poor. It is under that pledge group that makes you get things like the mosquito net you get today. Things like the polio vaccination you get today comes from that same group. Because for them, what's they need? How much can you consume? So their focus is on people. When you don't focus on helping people, it's not possible for you to make wealth. And that is why you must start thinking global and thinking of how to make people work. Help people live a better life. There are orphans who need help. There are businesses who need support. There are the widows who really need help. Therefore, ability to commit yourself to helping people is what inspires you to go beyond your needs. And then, from that process, you can make wealth. The third and most important thing you need to do as a step is you need to set a timeline for joining the wealth club. You see, targets and goals are very important. And the way you set targets to when you want to finish your school and to when you want to marry, to the number of children you want to get, that is how you must also set a target for when you want to create a wealth. You need to decide, am I going to be wealthy in the next 5 years? If I want to be wealthy in the next 5 years, what should I do as short-term goals that will help me enter wealth in 5 years' time? What is going to be my 3 months plan? What is going to be my target for 6 months? What's going to be my target for 1 year? Then you can measure how best you can arrive at wealth in the next 5 years. Without such target, you're going to live your life carelessly, without knowing where to start or even where to stop. It was Chinua Achebe who said, if you don't know when rain started beating you, you won't know when rain stopped. And that is why it is very crucial you understand how to set a timeline so that you know how to change phases from poverty also to wealth. I'll stop here for this episode. My name is Victor Prince Dixon, inventor of Common Sense, founder of Skills and Competence Factory, and the lead consultant for DESAL Wealth Academy. I'll see you in the next episode.